The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has a constitutional mandate to conduct or supervise elections to elective state offices established by the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In terms of Article 88(4)(f) of the Constitution, the Commission is required to register candidates for election. The Commission, in keeping with the prescriptions of Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity, is obligated to ensure that only persons who meet the educational, moral, and ethical requirements are registered and cleared to contest as candidates in election. On the 18th of May 2022, the Commission wrote a letter to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, and forwarded a list of 21,863 aspirants interested in participating in the general election of 9th August 2022. The Commission invited EACC to make representations on the aspirants with a particular focus on compliance with Chapter 6 of the Constitution. On 31st May 2022, the EACC responded to the request and favored the Commission with a 63-page report bearing a list of 241 persons, replete with information on candidates that it deemed relevant for consideration by the Commission as the Commission exercises its mandate of registering candidates pursuant to provisions of Article 88(4)(f) of the Constitution. The EACC in their report indicated that they are conducting further investigations on some of the aspirants and will avail more information and as when obtained. The Commission deliberated on the report, appraised the constitutional provisions, statutory and regulatory prescriptions relevant, and in addition applicable judicial determinations, and resolved as follows. Cases of aspirants under investigation. The Commissioner received a report of 11 cases under investigation. These include 1 presidential aspirant and 10 gubernatorial aspirants. The Commission appreciated the constitutional principle of presumption of innocence until the contrary is proved by a court of competent jurisdiction. This principle is spelled out in Article 50, Sub-Article 2A of the Constitution. The Commission is required by Article 249 of the Constitution to promote constitutionalism. In the circumstances, to disqualify persons under investigations is to affront the Constitution. So persons mentioned in the report as undergoing investigations are not disqualified by law and may contest as candidates. The other category of cases are cases under prosecution. The Commission received a report of 55 aspirants who are undergoing active prosecution in court. These are 1 presidential candidate aspirant, 12 gubernatorial, 5 senatorial, 1 countwoman member of the National Assembly, 12 members of National Assembly, and 24 members of County Assembly. Again, in keeping with the constitutional principle of innocence until the contrary is proved, the Commission advises that persons facing active prosecution in court are not disqualified by law and may contest in elections as candidates. We had a category of cases of convicted aspirants without appeals. The Commission received 1 case of a convicted gubernatorial candidate, 2 cases of members of National Assembly, and 1 case of a member of County Assembly. The Commission was guided by the provisions of Article 99(2)(g) of the Constitution and Article 193(2)(f) of the Constitution, which provides that a person is disqualified from being elected a member of Parliament or a member of County Assembly and this applies to governors as well, respectively, if he is subject to a sentence of imprisonment of at least 6 months as at the date of registration as a candidate or at the date of election. It's important to state that this is not tried that any conviction without an appeal presents a ground for disqualification. The sentence of imprisonment must be one that is alive at the time of registration of the candidate or at the date of election. The Commission's position is that if the convicted persons in the report have not pursued an appeal or unsuccessfully exhausted their appeals, they stand disqualified as candidates. Then we have a category of cases of convicted persons pursuing appeals. The Commission received a report of one aspirant who has been convicted by the court but has since appealed the decision of the High Court, the decision in the High Court. The Commission reckoned that such an aspirant is protected by the provisions of Article 99(3) and Article 193(3) of the Constitution, which stipulates that a person is not disqualified unless all possibility of appeals and review of the relevant sentence or decision has been exhausted. Then another category in the report is acquitted persons. The Commission received a report of 6 gubernatorial aspirants and a woman representative to the National Assembly who are prosecuted but have since been acquitted by the courts. It is tried law that persons who have been tried in court but acquitted are innocent and cannot therefore be barred from contesting as candidates in an election. The 6 aspirants are therefore qualified under this field to contest as candidates. There's also a category of educational requirements, more specifically degree qualifications. The Commission received a report on 2 gubernatorial aspirants who lacked genuine degrees. Section 22(2) of the Elections Act requires that persons seeking election as president, deputy president, governor, and deputy governor must possess a degree from a university recognized in Kenya. The Commission wishes to state that one of the aspirants who is seeking to be a governor was disqualified by the Commission in 2017 general election following the holding of the court in Nyeri Constitutional Election Petition number 1 of 2013 and in civil appeal number 29 of 2013, which declared that he had held an invalid degree certificate. The position of the Commission, and indeed the law, remains that the aspirant is disqualified unless he submits a valid degree from a recognized university in Kenya. The Commission wishes to inform aspirants with degrees from universities within Kenya that aside from the original degree certificate, they must obtain a copy of the certificate certified by the issuing university, confirming it as a true copy of the original. For degree certificates from universities outside Kenya, those are foreign degrees, an aspirant is required to obtain a letter of recognition and equation from the Commission for University Education. Another category in the report are aspirants impeached and removed from public office for abuse of office. Under this category, the Commission received a report on 2 aspirants for the position of governor and 1 aspirant for the position of senator who have been impeached. The Commission's position is that the stipulation of Article 75 of the Constitution was never intended for ornamental purposes, but as an effective clause that requires holders of public office to conduct themselves with decorum and in a manner that brings honor to the office. In terms of the provisions of Article 75(3) of the Constitution, a person is dismissed or otherwise removed from office for contravention of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. A person who is removed from office on contravention of Chapter 6 of the Constitution is disqualified from holding any other state or public office, whether effective or elective or appointed. The Commission's position is that Article 75 of the Constitution is self-speaking and self-executing and does not have a proviso or a saving clause. Therefore, the 3 aspirants who have been removed from public office through impeachment are disqualified from contesting in the election. In addition, a gubernatorial aspirant seeking election in Mombasa County was disqualified by the Commission from contesting as a candidate in the 2017 election. The reason for disqualification was and remains that he was removed from public office for abuse of office. He was convicted by the court on 15 December 2011 and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. He therefore stands disqualified. Public officers who did not resign by 9 February 2022. The Commission received a report on 166 aspirants who, while serving as public officers, did not resign from public office latest by 9 February 2022. The Commission appreciates that Section 43(5) of the Elections Act requires a public officer who intends to contest an election to resign from public office at least 6 months before the date of the election. By Gazette Notice dated 20th January 2022, the Commission published this requirement and subsequently through several pressers reminded public officers keen on contesting elections to adhere to the dictate of Section 43(5) of the Elections Act. This instruction was given to all the returning officers to ensure that aspirants who are public officers must produce letters of resignation before being cleared. It is the responsibility of the returning officer to consider the material evidence placed before them by aspirants and make a determination. At the close of the exercise of registering candidates, the Commission will issue a comprehensive statement on persons disqualified under this category. However, this requirement does not apply to elected state officers currently serving as they are protected by Section 43(6) of the Elections Act. All elected state officers need not resign because they have a protection under Section 43(6) of the Elections Act. In the circumstances, the Commission wishes to advise that flocking out of an aspirant who is serving as a deputy governor as being in breach of 43(5) of the Elections Act is in error, and such a candidate is qualified to contest in the elections. The Commission directs that an aspirant who previously held office or served as a public officer but did not resign by 9 February 2022 is disqualified from contesting as a candidate in the election. So that is the summary of the Commission's analysis of the report, which is the summary of the report is as follows. Under investigations, there was 1 presidential candidate, 10 gubernatorial candidates. Under prosecution, 1 presidential, 12 gubernatorial candidates, 5 Senate candidates, 1 member of women rep, and 12 MNS, and 24 MCS. So the report is here. We shall share with you. The other thing we want to say is that in terms of the disqualifications then, as at 4th of June, that's today, the following have been disqualified from contesting in the upcoming elections. Under the head of impeached, removed from public office for breach of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Under presidential nil, governor, we have Mike Mbuvi Songo and Chitavi Anthony Mukala, both contesting in Mombasa. Under Senate, we have Paul Karungo Thangwa, Kiambu. And under the item of academic requirements, invalid decrees, we have Thua Mathenge Nyeri, Kamais Jeremiah Loromukai, Turkana. And under convicted convictions of crimes, economic crimes offense, but not pursuing appeal, and barred from holding public office, we have an MCA aspirant by the name of David Njiri Mberia of Karen Ward. We also reiterate that public officers who did not resign by 9th of February this year, this will be managed by the returning officers, and the report will be given at the close of registration of candidates.